we was in all kind of trouble. Joey Carew pull a muscle, Clive Lloyd get about 3 run out. We was in trouble without a doubt. It was Gavaskar, the real master, just like a wall. We couldn't out Gavaskar at all, not at all. You know the West Indies couldn't out Gavaskar at all. Venkataraghavan, Bedi in a turban, Vijay Jaishima, Jayantilal. They helped to win the series against the West Indies at Sabina Park and Queen's Park Oval. 158 by Kanai, really sent our hopes up high. Noriega 9 for 95, the Indian team they still survive. It was Gavaskar, the real master, just like a wall. We couldn't out Gavaskar at all, not at all. You know the West Indies couldn't out Gavaskar at all. Janjurani, Solka Abidali, Dilip Sadesai and Vishwanath. They make West Indies bowlers look like second-raters when those fellows came out here to bat. West Indies tried holder and keep voice. They had no other choice. They even tried with Newton Dow, but a shot at the sorry they bring him now. It was Gavaskar, the real master, just like a wall. We couldn't out Gavaskar at all, not at all. You know the West Indies couldn't out Gavaskar at all. Little Desmond Lewis, also Charlie Davis, they take a little shame from out we face. But Sobers as a captain, he won plenty coaching before we cricket end up in a disgrace. Beatty here that he became a father, he catch out whole first in the cover. But when Sobers here, he too had a son, he made duck and went back in the pavilion. It was Gavaskar, the real master, just like a wall. We couldn't out Gavaskar at all, not at all. You know the West Indies couldn't out Gavaskar at all. You know the West Indies couldn't out Gavaskar at all. You know the West Indies couldn't out Gavaskar at all.
Good afternoon, listeners, all you listeners that are patiently waiting for us to get on this evening, and we were told it's about 8,000 of you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And it's a pleasure to be here this evening to do this very, very informative show. And with me is my fellow umpire, Simoya Sandiford.
Yes.
Lovely smile this evening.
Good afternoon.
And I think our other today television umpire will be joining us from Texas. So at some point in time in the show.
Nice.
As usual for the last 2 weeks or so. Today I must say good evening also to all those listening to us abroad. I like to, I don't want to leave you out because I know you all are there. We haven't heard from our friend from Miami in a while.
Yeah. Ah, yeah, yeah,
Maybe
yeah. We
he
haven't heard
find
from
it
him.
inconsistent. So
Yeah.
he
Good afternoon, Mr. Sandy Ford, if you're
Yeah.
listening.
Yeah. Um, and of course, our friends from New York and wherever you are, Karma, you know Karma? Remember Karma on the show?
No.
Yeah. Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon also to the owners and managers of this great radio station. Thanking you for giving us the opportunity to speak into the cars and lives of those who are on their way home this evening. A very bleaky
Yeah.
evening in
Yeah.
Port of Spain, of course. So, over the last week, well, over the last few days, we have been discussing a number of issues relative to the Caribbean Conference of Leaders. And yesterday I was not here, but I got a glimpse of the latter part of the show, and I find it to be good. When I am not here, you all seem to be on one side, but you know, I take that. I take that. When we listened to or read some of the comments by all the analysts and probably the other leaders who spoke about it, the views were mixed, obviously.
Yeah.
And you know, my views in particular among the umpires, I have a very mixed view on not just the speech of the Prime Minister, but also the speech of some of the other leaders that were there, because as we know, the Caribbean is, I wouldn't say it's divided, but there's a silent concern among leaders, and that concern has to do with one particular issue, and that is the U.S. intervention in the Caribbean. So we would not necessarily, today we will discuss a number of things. We will not necessarily just talk about that, because that is a oversubscribed discussion.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's kind of like there's not much to say about it anymore. But you know, a number of other things have been happening, and I saw in particular something that I wanted to address. I wanted to talk about that. Those two ladies, a mother and a daughter, who took the state, sued the Attorney General for a warrant that was executed on their homes. I think it was sometime in 2023, if I'm not making a mistake. And it was in the name of a gentleman who moved out of that place since 2019, I think. And Quinlan Williams did, justice did rule on that matter in favor of the persons that brought the lawsuit, and the state had to pay in excess of $600,000. And the issues really in that matter, it is not something different from what you hear from citizens all the time. You know, the police come, they shake down your house, they kick down your door, they ransack your place, they damage your furniture and your personal effects, and then they leave and they get nothing, and slam bam, thank you ma'am, they go on the way.
You have to bear the cost of repairing
everything. And well, that judgment was telling, and I think the police need to understand that they have to be more accurate in the way they do things.
Yeah.
And for you to get a warrant and it was served wrong. I mean, the person who, the wrong house, or not, this wasn't the wrong house, this was somebody who lived at that address before. But you ought to have known if that person had left some 3 years before. almost 4 years.
Now, how would you know? Because I mean that's frightening.
But
If
how you get the warrant then? How you get the warrant then?
That makes a lot of sense.
So the person who the person who served the warrant, who executed the warrant, the officer, he wasn't even called to give evidence in the matter. So that should tell you something. So these two ladies were rewarded damages. They were rewarded exemplary damages. They were rewarded damages for the damages for their property. They were rewarded damages for trespassing.
Yep.
And a number of other things. And this is something that we have to pay the police should pay particular attention. Too many errors.
Yeah.
And it is disenfranchising the citizens and also costing us, because when it costs the state, it costs the citizens. And that is a problem. So that is something that I wanted to discuss, but there are so many other things in the newspapers to discuss. What do you think we should discuss this evening?
Well, I like the topic where you talk about that whole police situation, because it brings me back to members of the PNM's argument about that Zoso situation. They were saying that could be a possibility of that type of behavior from the police and targeting innocent citizens in those areas. Now, you have to think about the distress that something like that causes. Now, I have not experienced something like that, but anything that shifts what you consider to be your normal could leave a traumatic effect on a person. A door doesn't cost $2.
Well, the ladies also sued for psychological trauma.
Yes, because they were forced to change their clothes in front of male officers. So it begs the question again, you know, sometimes why aren't the female officers accompanying in those types of events?
Well,
because you just never know.
Yeah, well, it's not so much, I mean, it was just circumstances. You know, the time, 3 o'clock in the morning, you come here and somebody banging on your door, kicking on your door.
But why 3, you know?
Well, maybe they thought that was the time. I mean, all that is policing strategy and that kind of thing. So you can't really complain of, you can't really fight that. Right? The police will do what they have to do whenever they feel is the best time to
But
get
you're not just distressing one household. You are distressing the other persons that are within that community, because everybody else, you're not just knocking and banging on one door and disturbing one household. You're disturbing the households around with all that commotion as well.
Well, I mean, all that is part of the course. I mean, when I say, if you had to execute a warrant, you had to execute a warrant, and you want to execute it at the time, and you feel it's the best time to get the person. So the unfortunate thing in this case was that the person that they came for have been living there for about 3-4 years. That was the concern of the court. You know? So that is something that how they execute warrants and what they do when they execute warrants and that kind of thing sometimes leaves a lot more to be desired. But you see it happening not just in Trinidad and Tobago, but citizens must have some kind of redress when you come and you damage my personal property that's costing probably hundreds of thousands of dollars. I must have some kind of redress. And in this case, Lala and they would have shown that yes, citizens have rights and these people have rights, and you can't just destroy the property and trespass and destroy the property and, you know, all that kind of thing, cause that kind of psychological trauma and survive that. The state must pay.
That is unfortunate.
So this goes into exactly what we've been talking about. People need, you see, at the end of the day, due process is active ingredient in the rule of law.
Yes.
And if people can't get redress when things like this happen,
that's right,
then we're not honoring the rule of law. So it is good that this would have happened, and somebody would have challenged the way this is done and what would have happened and how they would have suffered and as a result of it, psychologically and otherwise. This happens all too often, sometimes with family members who may have somebody in their space that is committing crime and doing things that would cause the police to have to come and break in your place and do that kind of thing. But that is just one of the things that we saw that needed attention, needed us to talk about. And there are other things that that we can certainly address at this time. Which one or what you would like to talk about this evening?
Well, one of which, there were some comments that came out very slowly from the CARICOM meeting yesterday, and it was on today's paper, where Prime Minister Motley is saying, in response to our Prime Minister's remarks or her address, she's calling it a scurrilous lie. A scurrilous lie. And I mean, we're not going to spend a lot of time on this topic, but it begs the question, you know, before Ms. Motley was reserving her comments, and then we see by the end of the day, she certainly had something quite scathing and fiery to say. So, you know, some people in the comments were saying, but Prime Minister Prasad Bisesa didn't lie though, because those were the statements used by our courts that it was in fact a kidnapping of Mr. Thomas from Barbados, I believe, to come all the way back to Trinidad for whatever situation happened. So she
probably, Mia Motley probably seen it in the literal sense.
Yes.
But legally, what would have happened could only be characterized as a kidnapping.
And to me, that signals that there is some tension between Trinidad and Tobago and the rest of the Caribbean region. So we spoke about diplomacy yesterday, and if we lean on diplomacy as a crutch, and in my view, we do. So right now, the cat is out of the bag. Everybody's saying things.
Sorry, I wasn't here yesterday. I listened. I got the opportunity to listen to her, and probably some of what Ronaldo said. Ronaldo and I don't always agree.
Yeah.
And I don't really rule with the majority all the time.
Well, we know that.
I'm a very underdog kind of person, and I see things very differently. And I think, to a large extent, the Prime Minister's speech was good, but there were things that she said that if I was her, I probably would not have said.
So you feel as though it's
so
not necessarily wrong.
You see that word diplomacy I use? I think that is something that the Prime Minister should pay a lot of attention to, right? But I understand the challenges that the Prime Minister would have and the how much boxed in she is in, and that would have created some of the reasons for her narrative, a particular narrative, because we know that she met with the U.S. Secretary of State before, and on a number of things, and she did talk about it in some of the press conferences, and one of them was the relationship between Trinidad and Tobago and Cuba and Venezuela, and therefore I guess she had to say what she said. Yeah. And we just had to understand that, leaders sometimes just have to say things not because they want to say it, but because they feel they have to say it given the particular disposition. And the disposition that Trinidad and Tobago finds itself in is not necessarily the same disposition that some of the other islands find themselves in. Right? But we are like on a tinderbox right now. Right. We need certain kind of investment. We cannot afford to put ourselves in harm's way with the U.S. Right? because
I see it the same way.
you know.
Yeah.
So that is I mean, if at all you ask me to understand what happened there, that is what I would see, and that's how I would look at it. But again, for me alone, all things being equal in a different space, and um, I wouldn't necessarily characterize Cuba in the way I would have characterized Cuban leadership, right?
Right.
Because we do business with China, we
Yeah.
do business with some of the other countries that that, and I see India plays that same kind of politics, by the way.
Yeah.
India
Yeah.
plays that same kind of politics. They rendezvous with Russia, they
Yeah.
rendezvous with China to some extent, and then they run and they suck up to the Americans. So the
It's
thing
benefit.
is, yeah. So the thing is, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And you know, what benefits you?
I feel the same way. This is about benefits.
The
This
last
is not.
day, the last day I was here, I went out and spoke a little bit about the situation as it relates to what is going on in Iran, and what that potential U.S. action could cause,
Right.
and how it could have benefited Trinidad and Tobago had we set up the refinery, had we restarted or kickstarted the refinery then, because now we may have access to some of Venezuela oil, although their infrastructure is aging, and I'm not too sure how they will be able to do it. But you have oil from other places that Trinidad and Tobago could have access to augment the shortages or the drop in production that we have, to supply a refinery. Because I saw our original article by economist Ronald Rankisoon,
Right.
and he was saying that we're talking about restarting the refinery, but any investor will have to consider the fact that they may have to have deep pockets, one, and two, we will have to secure a huge amount of crude to make that refinery profitable. And I know our fellow umpire who was here, who have absconded, who have been with us for some time now. He spoke a lot about the African Exim Bank, and I know he had an intimate relationship with them and the government of Trinidad and Tobago with respect to investing in or refinancing the reopening of the refinery. I don't know where that is. I haven't heard anything about it. But in his article, in Dr. Ramkisoon's article, he did mention that also. So I don't know, but again, coming back to what happened in the Caribbean, the Prime Minister did say in one of our press conferences that the U.S. is helping or assisting in guiding us to getting investors to restart the refinery. And that was my concern, because I was wondering if the U.S. was trying to get their oil magnate to come and run our refinery, right? Those things at the end of the day, in my opinion, doesn't end well for countries like this, because it means that you will be slave to it, and you wouldn't necessarily get what is worth. But of course, it will be run. So I'd like to hear what persons who are listening have to say about that in particular, because clearly there are opportunities, and the opportunities may come at us very, very soon. Very, very soon. We see America seems not to be giving up in striking Iran.
Yeah.
And if that happens, I know they are thinking, as they usually do with most wars that they start, that it will be a quick decapitation. I don't think it will be that with Iran. I think this war could end up being a long war. And if it is a long war, it means that the price of oil will undoubtedly go up, skyrocket. So the oil stocks and things, people who are investing in those kind of stocks, they will have a lot of money to be made. But let me hear what you have to say.
Call us at 342-0081.
Yeah, you can certainly call us.
466-5391.
So that is something that Trinidad and Tobago could certainly look at, and I hope they're not looking at it in a rearview mirror. And be looking at it from a very frontal way, because I know there has been a lot of talk, a lot of planning, a lot of everything with respect to that refinery since the government came back into office. We haven't heard much about it, except that they did say that they are looking into restarting it, but outside of that, haven't heard anything about it. So I'd like to hear what those who know have to say about that. And well, of course, I agree with Dr. Ramkisoon, because it is exactly what I've been saying over the last few days with respect to that. If our fellow umpire, first umpire, Selvan Mitchell, is listening to us, and probably he could call us and give us some insight as to where we are with that, that too will be good, because I know he would have some
You have that knowledge.
wrong the table information on that, and it is important that we know what's happening, because I was thinking it was probably only the African Exim Bank that was dealing with that, and now I'm hearing that the US is looking at investors. So that is something that you have to, I want to hear what the public have to say, and where we go from there.
Yeah, because we have to find ways to rebuild this economy to some extent. Now, if you look at all the level of taxes, we have 3 minutes before we go on the next side of the hour. If you look at all the taxes that we've had to experience just to keep afloat, I mean, it's taking a lot from the citizens' pockets just to even, I don't want to say it this way, but fulfill the obligation of that 10% to the
Well,
the
I
PSA.
mean, it's not just that. I mean, things, you see, sometimes people who just looking at dollars and cents, some of the things they doesn't understand is that our economy revolves around a lot of other things.
Yes.
And when things are hard, it doesn't only affect one thing. I mean, I saw an article where we are experiencing a dollar-cent crisis with respect to mental health.
Yes.
Right?
That's
so you have a lot of
egregious.
strain on all kind of different things.
There'll be strain on the resources to provide that kind of care.
And you know, you look at, you know, something is if the state does not have the revenue to do simple things, then we will have a problem.
That's correct. We have to look at it that way as well, because even prisons, the association, they're threatening to strike. And
Well,
if
strike
that is
for
to
what,
materialize, no, because they've been asking for better conditions in terms of their income as well, and even the state of the prisons, because it's not just the prisoners who are in there, it's the prison officers are also subjected to those types of conditions. And further to that, there's a lot of risk when they come out. There's a lot of shooting and you know, murdering of the officers that's just trying to execute their duties. So we run the risk of internally us having problems, and the rest of the country is saying, fix what we have internally before you get out there and try to defend Trump and go all this war on drugs. Because apart from the drugs, if that's what we want to call it with Venezuela, we have issues here.
Well, to be quite, I mean, if you were to look at things from a broader perspective, the war on drugs is important.
Of course.
Because to me, that is one of the things, when drugs come in here, guns come with it.
Yeah, then perpetuate.
So if we could fix that, right, we could fix a lot of things, right? But that is not to say that we don't have to try to find all the guns that are already here. Because that too is a serious problem. But ladies and gentlemen, we are going for a break. And when we come back, we will certainly continue this narrative and others. And you can also join us on the telephone, where we'll be happy to entertain you.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
After Carnival, TNT, the show you all been waiting for. Laugh till your belly busts. In partnership with Talk City 91.1 FM and TTT Limited, 28th of February at Napa, Port of Spain. Showtime, 8 p.m. sharp. Come see the funniest guys on the planet and the man who took social media by storm, Victor St. Louis, a.k.a. Pell.
You know, things so hard right now in Trinidad. You know, a store in town, no fire, 2 mannequin.
All his funny friends. Get it, superstar, the greatest story time teller ever, Shaquille, Louis Spiderman Antoine, Andrew Friday, The Saint.
Only me, you know, first it's so expensive. I went and priced a plate there. You know, they're telling me $10,000 for a plate. I say, only I know sauces.
And Paniska is back.
Stop it, honey. Don't bring out the dog in me, you know. I better scrape you.
Get those tickets now. Ronnie and Caro, Mascap, Marabal Road, Port of Spain, Bruce Bar, St. Augustine, and IslandEtickets.com. For ticket hotlines, call 278-5892, 314-382-9986. Laugh till your belly bust.
Not everything has to change. At KFC, we don't change the flavor, we add more. Now, get our delicious Lent value meals so you can keep on crunching. Get a fish sandwich for $45 or fish fillet with 1 regular side, also $45. We give you more of the taste you love for Lent. So keep on crunching with KFC. Finger licking good.
This carnival season, come hungry and leave in love. Welcome to Flavor, a carnival culinary experience like no other. Every evening, the Queen's Park Savannah transforms into a vibrant village of food, culture, and celebration. Taste the best of Trinidad and Tobago with local street food, gourmet chefs, live cooking demos, cultural performances, and family-friendly experiences, all in one place. Join us at Flavor Village, Queen's Park Savannah, every day from 4 p.m. TNT, you're gonna love this.
Blessings in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You are invited to listen to the Final Hour broadcast heard every Monday
from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning on the Street 919 FM.
Hear my mom, Pastor Helen Garcia, and myself, Pastor Valentine Garcia Jr., preach the Word of God to the elderly, youth, and children. We can be contacted at 629-0113 or 623-8444. The church is located at 26 Prince Street in Port of Spain. We look forward to you joining us. God bless you.
As my life I lay it on the altar, as my life.
Man, I went by the ATM to get some cash and the machine saying insufficient funds. I sure I have money in my account.
Boy, that happened to me already. Here what to do. Make a report to your bank. But if you're still not satisfied with how they're dealing with it, contact the Office of the Financial Services Ombudsman. Let me text you now.
If you want to resolve a complaint with your bank, non-bank financial institution, or insurance company, contact the Office of the Financial Services Ombudsman at 800-4FSO or visit www.ofso.org.tr. We can help, and our services are free.
Is a whole lot of flavor wrapped up in a twist. Some of them try to rap, but they don't rap like this. With crispy KFC tenders and lettuce and carrots and shredded tortilla embedded, perfect wherever you headed. Dripping with that creamy mayo and that mambo sauce. Let me tell them one more time to get my point across. It's a craveable, crunchable, movable, functional, flavorful meal that your taste buds must endorse. KFC, crunch twist, crunch twist. None of them, they don't make it like this.
Introducing KFC's Crunch Twist, a flavorful wrap with a delicious difference for just $29.95. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Yes, we are back. And callers, you are free to call us. And if you've been hearing the discussion that we have been the narrative that we have been going on with for the last few minutes, you can call us and say your part. I see also that the stance Jamaica take sparks on Cuban sparks backlash. One American congressman said that the Jamaica could face problems from the US for saying what they say. I didn't hear Jamaica say anything bad. Jamaica, like Trinidad and Tobago and like most of the other countries, concerns were that if we need to stand in solidarity with the Cubans.
Right.
And at the end of the day, with all what America is doing, the people of Cuba is suffering.
That's correct.
And if you have what you have taken place with this embargo, what will happen is the same thing that happened with the Venezuelans. You will have mass migration and that kind of thing, and it will affect the other countries, nearby countries around. I mean, water, throw too much water in a bottle, it will overflow.
Yeah.
And clearly, the Caribbean has to also think about it, and Cuba is a very resourceful place too.
Correct. Because they have the best doctors there, you know. So
I don't know why people are trying to stifle freedom of speech, and you know, I mean, people have to say what they say. People,
that is the next argument.
That's a problem.
That is the next argument.
So we try to see it as we see it here, right? Each one of us have our own view, our own analysis on it, and Ronaldo, if you're listening to us, you could call us in, call in on the show, right? But at the end of the day, it is what it is. We were talking about the refinery and the need for, at least for us to know, for the citizens to know what has happened with that refinery, because of course there are a lot of opportunities there.
That's correct.
And it is, especially with what is expected to happen probably in the next few days. Every day I say the next few days, because all I hear is Trump doubling down on Iran. I ain't hearing seeing no moves to make any changes, as if you're trying to scare Iran, and the world is kind of getting accustomed to that. Yeah, it's like, you know a bully making noise, coughing down everybody doing, and then one day he suddenly realized that, hey, this is working again. People in trade again. And that is what happened. And that is not a good thing, because the perceived strength that America has is gradually dissipating with America trying to thin itself out in conflicts all over, and people are now becoming very, very, very aware of what they are doing. And let's take this call. Good evening, caller.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Patterson and Ms. Simoya.
Good afternoon.
I heard you spoke about this refinery. I think I was fortunate this morning to hear from former Minister of Energy, I think Kevin Ramnarine, and then subsequently heard from Mrs. Siebert,
Karen?
What's her name again? Karen Sivasad Bichan. And what Kevin Ramnarine was, what I heard him said, was that we have no limited amount of persons or companies willing to get the refinery started, right? But we have to make the appropriate choices. Some people, there's some Calypso Oil Company Limited or whatever it is, and they were willing to put out the money. I think it may cost about $1 billion US to start the refinery, and they were putting forward the finance to get it going. And then you have other companies, Orlando, or some Nigerian company, which I think was chosen by the previous government and all that. But I don't know what they would have offered. But they are in search, and then they have been in contact with the government of Guyana with respect to assistance in getting the refinery started. And the discussion with the Guyanese government even though they may have laid down certain conditionalities.
It's with the view, that would have to be with the view of probably providing the crude. Guyana can assist us in the refinery. I don't see that unless it's investors in Guyana who are American investors or so.
Well, getting the refinery going, right? Because what they are saying is that to get the refinery started, they would have to do it in tranches, and you know, you can't get the entire refinery going all at once.
Well,
so it would have to be in stages.
According to Dr. Rankisoon, he was saying that two things we will have to satisfy, and that is the crude, the availability of crude oil all the time, right? Consistent availability, and also finance. Somebody with deep pockets.
Yeah.
So,
but I listened to Dr. Rankisoon last night, but I am more interested in what Kevin Ravenel would have had to say, and what Bachan, Caroline Sipasa Bachan would have had to say. They would have had the experience, and what they would have said. Both of them agree that there's no limits in terms of persons willing to get the refinery going, and that is what I'm about.
Yeah.
I think that is more important than what Rankisoon is saying. He's just making a statement but they are saying that yes, the refinery should we should get it going, and yes, you have people out there who are willing to get the refinery going, right? And both of them agree, and that is Caroline Sipasa Bachan, but we must do it very quickly. Yeah. Because again, the refinery was mothballed, right? And you have certain difficulties that could, rear its head and make it much more difficult in terms of cost and whatnot to get it going, right? So I am somewhat optimistic that the refinery, would start very shortly, within the next 18 months or so. And they said that they could get it going, that Calypso, that company, they said they can get it going in 9 months. But there must be inspection of the refinery and all that. These things have to be done, right? So I think we would have made the biggest mistake in terms of that is my view. That closure of that refinery was the biggest mistake ever made in this country.
I want to agree with you on that.
The biggest, and I'm saying that, history would prove you right if you agree with me, right? That I couldn't understand, and up to now they can't. And to think Caroline Sipasa Bachan is calling for an inquiry, a commission of inquiry, because up to today they're saying that there's no real reasons, good reason advanced for the closure of the refinery. That was the cornerstone of the economy. That is what sent you to primary school, secondary school, university. They met it here in terms of Forex and all these different things. That is where the problem with Forex came in. You close on that? Madness. So I am hopeful that the refinery. Another thing, I heard Ms. Simona spoke about out there, but what I'm saying is this: if you need investors now, you need foreign direct investors, and you must lay the condition for investment. If people are not going to invest in a country that is crime-ridden or crime-infested, right? They're not. People go to invest where in fact you have a highly literate or educated population, where they can draw on the technical skill of the people. They're going to invest where the laws, more particularly the contract law, are there, and the court system, the legal system is functioning efficiently and effectively. So there are a number of things. So you have to deal with crime. You have to deal with drug cartel and all this, because gangster man running all about every 2 days. You have to ensure the safety and security of the people of this country, and more particularly those people who are going to invest. When they put their money here, the investment here, put down plans here, They want to ensure that these things are safe, these things are secure. They're not going to invest there. Who is going to invest in Haiti? Who's going to invest in Haiti? You think let's say as an individual, you think I go and invest anything up in Laventille, behind the bridge? I'm not going to invest. I go put my money and open my grocery in the back there.
Why? Nah, I only because I know better. Only because I know better. I will invest there, boy. I will invest there. There are plenty people up there.
Yeah, but the fact remains is that with what is going on there, the crime, you talk about the security of your business and that kind of thing.
No, man.
Right?
Watchman.
A policeman, let me just say this. A policeman said that he lived somewhere Mango Village there in a house, one of those apartments. And he said he was asked the Minister of National Security and the police commissioner to move out of that area because he said it's bullet every day. The house, when you look at the wall, bullet come through the kitchen, right? All these things, and he asked him to move. He's asked him to move out of there. So I don't know if you believe and you feel safe, well, you have your own intelligence.
Listen,
and you could cope with that.
I have my own intelligence, and I'm telling you, Laventille is not as bad as people think. And as a matter of fact, it's probably a good place to invest right now, because the crime not as pervasive as it is in some of the other places.
No, hear what I'm saying. Are you saying in behind the bridge?
Well, what you calling behind the bridge? All by mangroves, all them kind of places, speaking of street and thing?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a different.
No, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking. I'm not talking about the areas. I'm talking about that specific area. I'm talking about moving up to the Harp and all these different places up there.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about certain parts of Laventille that it's a bit. It's far better off.
Yeah, Mova and all them places.
Yeah. I'm not talking about there. I'm talking about behind the bridge, that area around there, and certain parts in the west again, you have problems there.
Yeah.
So the question of investment, I just want to make that point.
But I understand. If you're not safe, if your car feels safe, you wouldn't just invest in places where it seems to be volatile or
yeah, you're not going to invest in those areas. I mean, and the same thing with foreign investment. If they're not going to put their plans and things in a country where they have no confidence that their plans and their assets and whatnot will be secured, if they bring in expatriates and whatnot to work here, are they going to be safe? Could they go to Port of Spain in the night to enjoy nightlife? All these things you look at. Going to shop, West Mall, all these places, kidnapping and all these things. So you have to get that under control. So I don't want to take too much of your time, Mr.
Yeah, okay.
I just thank you for it.
Thanks. It's always nice to hear your contribution. As a matter of fact, you are one of the callers I look forward to having these kind of conversation with on evenings.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, Simona. So clearly, the refinery is something that needs to. Attention has to be paid placed in, and I think that is one area that government could probably hasten the speed at which they get those kind of initiation investments and that kind of thing. Good evening, caller. Good evening.
Hello to the Empires. Pleasant evening to you.
Pleasant evening.
Yeah, good evening to you. Great program as always. I just saw that Mr. West had to frame his words in that kind of way. A lot of people of that area in the Laventille area listening to this program could take offense to what you have said. So you have to be careful what you're saying and how you're saying it.
There's some areas in Laventille that may come across as risky, but the majority of Laventille is very, very, very nice to be in and to live in and probably to invest in. I can tell you that because I live in that area.
Yeah. I take your word.
Yeah.
This is why I say that it could come of these areas that you spoke about. The majority has parts of Lavington is into this program.
Yeah.
Could take offense to what Mr. West just said. Anyhow, to move on from that, I know that Mr. Roger is interested in the refinery. He have been saying that for some years now. I think he showed his support behind the UNC because in some way, probably of his thinking, something good could come out of it. With the refinery, where he could be a part of it. So my question this evening I'm asking is that if you get foreign investors to come in to start a refinery, and somehow Mr. Roger is left out, will there be a fallout? Or do you think, seeing that he has been showing his interest for so long, that any foreign investors coming in should align themselves with Mr. Roger?
Well,
just a question this evening.
Well, that's a good question, and I will try to answer that question purely from a business or strategic standpoint. Mr. Roger is a union leader, and more or less, union leaders kind of like have socialist ideals in the way they think about workers and the need for workers to be involved and their I should say not safety, but their ability to earn good living kind of thing. Now, but business are usually in business for business. Right? We know what Friedman had to say about that. And if I am a businessman and I know the experience of this refinery and why it would have closed down. Well, not so much why, because we still don't know why it closed down. It's closed down. But what were the experiences in terms of the human resource? And one would, and that goes also with the issue with unions when we talk about human resource. One would be kind of reluctant to have Roger play any significant role if his only intention is to unionize the business, to have more union activities, I should say, or union propensity of unions in the running of the business, unless of course it's his finance and his resources that he's using to do that, for which we know he don't have. So I don't, from a business perspective, a businessman may see that as very risky.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. Let's take this call. Good evening, caller. How are you today? Good evening. Yes.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yes, good evening. I hear you bad talking on radio yesterday, but I was telling Simoya.
Me?
Yeah, I hear you bad
Excuse
talking.
me,
This is Mr. Matheson.
Yes, but I didn't bad talk you.
All right.
You heard me bad talking you.
How are you today?
You hearing things.
How are you today?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm glad to see the team online back together today. Mr. Rocher, I find this is my opinion, right? So don't take it personally, or it have to be. My opinion is, like you, when you come to business, you deal with business. Business is not something to be, I like you, I'm your friend, and all this kind of thing. Business, you have to have money, and you have to have no business, number one. What I want to find out, what business has Mr. What is his name again? Roger. done over the years. What big company he owns? I just talk about in the business world. I'm not talking about and even the union. Do they have a big thriving business like a manufacturer, some business? Do you know?
Well, the union, the OWTU in particular, they were involved in some businesses before. They have some buildings. They had some businesses.
No.
Huh?
Do they have anything running now? Do they own like a chain of big supermarkets and things? I don't know now. I don't know what they had.
I can't see. I can't see. I know they have a building, or they have buildings. Some of which they would have, I think, lost in this bid for.
Right. Well, that is new. You were just speaking about business, and I'm going off of what you like you. When you're dealing with business, you don't say what they had. I had some bricks that I build that in, or going on. Business, you have a plan, you have a vision, you have money, you have people, you have, and all this kind of thing behind you, and then you have to see where you came from, or what business you do, or how you do business. Business is not about talking, you know. Business is not talk, yap, you know. So he probably good in that. But if we talking about opening Petrotrin, and you're looking at Mr. Roche, I wouldn't have opened a sweetbread parlor and say and invite him as a businessman, as one of my, people. That you all don't know what business is, and that is why you hear folks say over the time, and they blame it like on PNM or whoever they want to blame it. You don't have money. They are not business people. We have to. I will say that. Please don't give me your money because that's
the caller did juxtapose what he said by saying that they would have thrown their support behind the UNC because they were of the opinion that the UNC would be more amenable to assisting them as being part of the opening of the refinery. And so that is the question. That is the question.
I know, I heard he said that. Mr. Matheson, that's why I came in. Business again. When we are dealing, you don't hope to line and jump on a political, make it worse again, political party in the hope. If he forgot the last time, that's what he hoped. But anyway, on the hope that they're going to juggle along with you. It is not a kumbaya campfire. Business, they don't jump on what? Even a political party. That you ever hear, when Stuart Young, when 1%, as people like to say, who own the whole of Trinidad, 5 people, own the whole, you ever hear say, so we going, yes, they throw the support the money, but they have to have money. You ever hear they're going begging and groveling? They own. You don't say jumping behind whether if he have to jump behind, he have to help grow the country. You have to help to develop his people.
Well, at the end of the day, the capital to start that wouldn't necessarily be capital coming from Trinidad. So
I know, but you always talk. No, but you also know I come in from where you say Roche.
No. So I'm answering your question. So any businessman will looking to get into a refinery like this will certainly have to do their due diligence, and their due diligence would take them to understanding the human resource management practices needed for something like this, the laws of Trinidad and Tobago, correct, the union propensity, all these things, and therefore they will have to either give some allowances, understanding that there will be the need for certain things and there may be challenges in certain areas, and they will, but at the end of the day, they are business people, and business really is usually in business for business. So they will know how to manage the marbles.
Yeah, but Mr. Matheson, you're talking, but I don't know, you must be specific. I don't know who they would say, and they would do. I'm talking about they. Who they are you speaking about? I'm talking
about the investors.
Have to learn. Well, all right, don't go by my investors are multi-billionaires, already know what you're talking about, and you have to see them because we are talking about a refinery here. if you're thinking that. And you have to, it was already on. A refinery is not a sugar cake factory, right? So you're talking about billions and businessmen. So that's what I was talking about when you're speaking about business. All what you're talking about day and you have to know, it's already known. Because when you're dealing with business people, Mr. Patterson, you think, eat and drink business money. You don't know going to look at this and look at that. That is, starting up. That's what I said. Mr. Roger, if he wants to do something, he could help build the country when he throw his thing behind the Prime Minister. You throw your little worth. You try to develop your country. I don't talk about no refinery. You try and develop your people, trying to develop the country, in his little way, right? In his sweetbread way. Like even if his grandmother have a sweetbread shop and things like that. Listen now, when you talk about business, you, Mr. Matheson, you are not a businessman. When you talk about business, I look at what you are in, how many business you have, how you deal with business, how many times you close down and get up, and all these things. I don't deal with petty people talking about a hoe and things like that. So leave Mr. Roger.
And you're correct. You're correct. You're correct. You're 100%.
To me.
But
I will better go on you and ask Mr. Matheson and Mr. Ronaldo. Could you all come and help, develop protection or something like that? Not Mr. Roger. Right? Please, anyway.
Well, that will be for the government and certainly the investors to think about or to consider.
That is
okay.
Don't forget, and let me tell you, Matheson, that is for you. We are the government, not for them, that is for us. It's for us, we have to think and act, and we have to think too. You understand? So don't leave it up to them.
Correct.
Totally. So we're looking forward to seeing you playing a big part. Bye-bye.
All right. Okay, cool. Take care. Yeah. So, the thing is, okay, let's take this caller. Caller. So how about 1,000 all you on the line?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Ronaldo, Bakkerson, and Shania.
Good afternoon.
Have a blessed and safe weekend.
You're Chris.
I said, Mammy, not Roger. You better they do that to open every Friday, Bakkerson. Roger bring down our whole government. Rolly pull him in the back of my promise him the only Friday. You get it? So if you get only Friday, you go to the poll of the government. Roger is jumping from post to post. What business them really have? What condoms them have? What land estate them have? For all the money that come from the workers and them. Roger, we don't have everything. I'm not going to get a chance to run that bill. She and Shemaya to open your refinery.
Oh, God.
But now, Marcus, I say, you go open a business in Lavanti. It's a good place in Lavanti, you know. I come from there, but the elements in there too, boy. People run away from there and open a business all over the place and then open a business in the community. It's sad. So, Marcusson, campaign for to open your olive Friday.
All right.
Not Roger.
Okay, take care. You know something I wanted to ask you as I hear in this conversation, and you as an HR person, but I am both HR and employment law. And Ronaldo is employment law. But what do you thinking about difference? But I mean, to a large extent, the public do understand there's a significant difference, and there's a need for HR to understand IR in the workplace. And I'm saying this because, every day, yesterday I sat in a meeting with a very large organization, and they and their legal team and the HR people. And today I spoke to another group that seem not to understand that, for one, if you are hiring an HR person in your organization to head your organization HR, that HR person must understand employment law or IR. Must. Because if you do understand, you see so many schoolboy errors coming before the court. With big companies, with big HR people who earning $100,000 a month and that kind of thing. and making some schoolboy errors.
Yeah, yeah.
With IR, and that frightens me.
And you know, so I think HR professionals must have some type of certification,
Especially in Trinidad.
IR, especially in Trinidad. And I mean, for me, you wouldn't find a lot of people wouldn't have the capacity to be strong in both areas.
So they'll be able
But
to deal with like
general
the
knowledge,
Rogers and the Dukes and the, you know, all them union people that sometimes try to confuse HR.
that's correct. And then sometimes the executive, the CEOs will pass instructions that the HR people feel, well, we have to listen to, we don't have a choice. In that circumstance, you hire a Matterson. I always, when I do those interviews for HR management positions, first thing I ask, do you have an industrial relations consultant? That's the first thing I ask, because it's really difficult to hold the portfolio of both HR and IR.
I mean, HR manager don't necessarily have to know a consultant, no. But at least you must have a good understanding of employment law, or IR,
It's
especially
very serious.
the laws of Trinidad and Tobago as it relates to workers.
When
Because if you don't know that, you will end up in court.
You will. And for some reason, employees only know their rights when it comes to them being disciplined. They will do all sorts of stuff to find loopholes, and from the time you have to action certain things, all of a sudden they remember their
Sometimes
rights.
you hear comments like, HR will tell you, this is not a matter that that they could deal with, and they would probably get in-house counsel, and in-house counsel don't understand anything about IR, and they think that they look at common law, for which the court does not necessarily accept as good treatment all the time with respect to, not good treatment, but doesn't always expect those remedies in terms of understanding workers. Sometimes they use all kind of different laws, not understanding that it's like they have one key, and they're thinking that key could open all the doors.
Everything.
It don't work like that.
We see that especially in contract management. You see contracts when you're executing, especially short-term contracts, when you give more than one consecutive contract, and by the time that person reaches 12 consecutive months, you want to cut the contract, they already are employee, they are worker. So by the time you reach that stage, and you know the employee decide they go into the Ministry of Labor,
and the government is making that mistake too. Government ministries and things make them kind of mistake.
So they break it for a day or break it for 2 days, but really and truly there's something called reasonable expectation.
Let me take this caller.
Caller, you have 2 minutes.
Caller, we taking you, but you have just 2 minutes because we're going for a short break. Yeah. Cynthia.
Hello.
Yeah.
I like what you're saying about HR, and one person I have full confidence in is Sammy. Is your other what do you call it? Your other umpire, the umpire sitting there.
Ronaldo.
If I have a company, him,
right.
Ronaldo, I'm talking about Sammy.
Oh, okay.
I didn't pronounce the name properly.
Oh, some boy, okay.
My confidence, the little I know of HR, to me, I don't know if I'm saying the little knowledge, but the little knowledge I have, if I have a company, she would be heading my HR, and she should be touring. I don't know if she does that, and teach people in HR, because some of them are very lacking.
She does that little teaching. And
because
we're going to talk about that when we come back in the next hour.
Yes, because I find it should to be developed like how what she knows, that should be transmitted so there'll be better HR people, because I don't know. I asked them and it doesn't sound like her. So I am one for, good
They make a lot of errors a lot of times, and that is so unfortunate.
Yes, they make a lot of errors in truth. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and sometimes those errors will end up costing companies millions of dollars.
Correct.
Millions of dollars. Simple errors. I hear an HR manager come in court and say, we have in our handbook, and that is our handbook and that is our law, that if a worker has to be called to a tribunal, he cannot come with a lawyer.
Nah. Not Stephen.
He could only come with a
You
peer.
have a right to representation.
He could only come with a peer and an HR manager in a big company saying that.
Never.
When I hear that, I get frightened.
No. When we come back on the next side, man. Oh my God, no.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going for a short break to pay some bills, and when we come back, we will continue this discussion.
This meal tip is being brought to you by Royal Castle. Our culture, our taste.
Lent is here, and the castle is making fasting easy and tasty. Come enjoy any of our 5 delicious fish options. All made with a fresh catch, seasoned local style, and cooked to golden perfection. Try the fish meal. 2 slices of fish with a side. The fish combo. 2 slices of fish, 1 side, and a drink. Maybe the fish sandwich combo of 1 sandwich, a side, and a drink. Want more fish? Well, the Royal Fish Meal is for you. Enjoy a slice of fish, a fish sandwich with a side and a drink. Or maybe you just want our famous fish sandwich. The delicious Lenten specials are hot and waiting for you at your nearest Royal Castle.
Here's a tasty meal tip from Royal Castle. Sometimes you just feel like eating a nice sandwich, right? The sensation of biting into a soft bun with the crunch of fresh lettuce and the taste of tomatoes along with the added condiments, all a treat to your taste buds. At Royal Castle, our sandwiches are a hit. Try the center breast chicken and flying fish sandwiches, the wholesome veggie burger, and at selected locations you can also get the grilled salad or grilled sandwiches. So when you get the craving, remember that the Castle has some delicious sandwiches. Ask for them in a combo too with your favorite side and a drink. Royal Castle, our culture, our taste.
Lent is here, and the castle is making fasting easy and tasty. Come enjoy any of our 5 delicious fish options. All made with a fresh catch, seasoned local style, and cooked to golden perfection. Try the fish meal. 2 slices of fish with a side. The fish combo. 2 slices of fish, 1 side, and a drink. Maybe the fish sandwich combo of 1 sandwich, a side, and a drink. Want more fish? Well, the Royal Fish Meal is for you. Enjoy a slice of fish, a fish sandwich with a side and a drink. Or maybe you just want our famous fish sandwich. The delicious Lenten specials are hot and waiting for you at your nearest Royal Castle.
That tip was brought to you by Royal Castle. Our culture, our taste.
Yeah, so we're back. And those of you who are willing to enjoy, to join in on this discussion, maybe you can feel free to do so. Yeah, so you were saying?
You were talking about the experience with the HR manager and the policy that was a little...
Yeah. Let me take Mr. President. Mr. President.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Stephen.
How are you?
Good afternoon. Yeah, good afternoon, Sister Signoria.
Good afternoon, sir.
Right, and good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. Good afternoon, good. Go give all your nice little program this afternoon there, right?
Yeah, man.
I mean, you start in a good way from the police warrant, and then we had the little Iran conflict. It looked to me like we ain't going to rush up there too much. But I see how you stay around the refinery, which is a good place. But our brother who come and bring in the rosé, that man bring here somebody there, boy. Yeah, because I want to ask a question here this evening. Sometimes a certain subject does make me want to ask question, knowing that I have a mind that suits the environment. I might be the big economist, whatever it is, but Roger hold on an organization called Unionized Organization. I would like a simple answer here from who we know. That organization that holding down many members of the oil fraternity or the refinery fraternity or whatever it may be, do they have shares in those organizations? I may not know because I never worked there. But if I understand what is shares by now, then the members of themselves by now through the organization of Roger and them should be able to buy that organization of the refinery. Because, you know, so The question that the brother asks is a very pertinent and a very serious question, because we're going to put Rosie, he's a businessman. No, according to the lady just now, that ain't a businessman. That is a man who depending on laborers' money. And I don't see it so, you know, because why? And not only by day. I see that plenty intellectuals who paper, they're going out kind of thing in big offices and all that. But they don't know for the man who work in the energy from his hand, his face, and his foot. Put up on a big twin tower, or plenty tower, and he would fall off of a scaffold. When he fall off a scaffold and he dead below, nobody had time. The person in the office still drawing money off his head. And they're drawing bigger money than he going and put up on a scaffold about 100 stories up. But nobody does study that. The people that are benefiting out of offices, benefiting better than the man who on a scaffold has to work. Nobody does study that. But I say in principle, Rosie and all of them too, who call in union. I ain't saying that union is a bad thing. But to what potential they're benefiting people, especially when they want to come and tell me stay home. But I have 12 children to mine and go for a wife. How am I? And then when I have to do that, you force you would like me to stay home. And then when I do stay home now, you're going to make some cookie deals again. I'm 2% and 3%, and when I'm looking for 8%. You know, these are the kind of things when I see them when I'm not studying. I'm not big a commercial, I'm not a big money man neither, but the common sense in life. I don't even run down and the guy contented plenty. Yeah, I really contented. I living off a natural, just being alive, and know for sure I'm glad when I get up this morning, and I'm glad to know again after tomorrow is good. But what I see in life that make me able to invent, open up my mind, think, according to our brother, they say to we in this that all the time. I don't know who is that. I don't like to call him, but I don't know whether David. He is the man will have plenty of people calling. All I ask you to do is to think. And plenty of people ain't thinking that we are other people doing things for we because we don't think to do for ourselves. You can understand, you know. How much are we just really listening and how much are we motivating ourselves to do something? I just keep on telling you that we got 12 in the parliament. It have plenty rich people who have the kind of consciousness like me. Why they don't they get together and form an organization of disciplines that they could put in the parliament of 12? So out of the 41, we have 12 out of the 41. Give the government who want to say there's government for the rest. And we will deal with them inside of the parliament because we are the people's organization. Why don't we do that? The poor can't do it. The rich should do it. But that's why I say the rich ain't about to do nothing to the poor. So they will stay on top of the and because they get in money and they don't care about you, so they don't seem to form that I begging to form something that I is the poor man. I will pause because you know I just talk, I just serious orator. But nobody wants to see that because my naturalness, myself, nobody wants to see that because he's a poor man. He got $10 trillion. Not $10 trillion. I don't form the organization for pay people and make such something.
All right, Mr. President.
Yeah, that was joking about.
Yeah.
Whatever that is doing.
Right, take care. Yeah, but before we were interrupted by Mr. President, we were talking about the nexus between HR and IR. You know, sometimes we just had to talk these things because I mean, this is what we just do, and you know. At the end of the day, we had to give back something too. We had to help people. We had to guide companies in the way they should be going and how they should be treating with issues, especially with HR. People issues in the workplace, the person or the personnel responsible for that is the HR people.
Absolutely.
Right? Once you have humans in your organization, the human resource management people, the people that are trained to do that, they are the people that deal with that.
Yeah.
Once you have issues with disputes, the HR people are the people who are required to deal with that. And they must be so trained to understand the laws of Trinidad and Tobago, the practice of HR, what is good industrial relations practice, what is bad industrial relations practice, and not think that you could just look at a situation and deal with it through normal law, common law, that kind of thing. It don't work like that. So, you know, yesterday I had the opportunity to sit before the senior legal officer and senior HR person in a bank. I wouldn't call the name of the big bank in Trinidad. And I heard something, and I was really, I was really frightened, because some of these people work for a lot of money.
Yeah.
And they are advising companies, and they don't even know what they're talking about.
Wow.
So a gentleman left the company, and he left the company, and he left the bank, and he claimed constructive dismissal.
Right.
But his contract said that he had to give 3 months notice if you're leaving.
3 months?
Notice if you're leaving. Now, what they didn't understand is that the gentleman went back to ask for, they owe him some $90,000 and some bonus he was supposed to earn. And they are saying they're not paying it because he breached the contract. But he left, and in the letter, the resignation letter, it had constructive dismissal.
Ooh.
So constructive dismissal doesn't require you to constructive dismissal. As a matter of fact, the very nature of that particular claim and dispute, you should leave as soon as the issue is. It's a dish served warm, so you should leave as soon as the issue arises.
Happens,
So they didn't understand that, and they going down arguing. Listen, he breached the contract, and as such, we're not paying him that. And I say, listen. This is not something you can win. This is not normal.
That letter.
This is something every HR manager must know or should know. From the time you see the issues of constructive dismissal arise in termination letter, you know that person either getting advice or something coming, a love letter coming to you just now in the next few weeks. So you cannot be so callous to not understand, you're going to get two disputes.
Exactly. At least try to deal with one in good graces.
Exactly.
At the very least. You can't look to pull that policy if the person's sick.
What sometimes they don't understand, you know, IR and employment law is a derivative of HR.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, HR is the big brother, but you have to understand both
when
of them.
Things go wrong, we cross it over.
If you want to say the director HR or whatever in a company, the vice president HR, whatever, you should know both of them. And you should know it really good.
You have to.
Right? You can't just come and tell them about training and development and performance management.
You have
and
to look at everything holistically.
And that kind of thing. And you're doing everything good. And then when you come to, you have a dispute arise, you don't know what to do.
Listen, people don't even understand from the stage of, for example, recruitment. If somebody has a particular issue, a health issue, those things need to be recorded, because there are things that happen as the employee progresses in their employment, and they can them to get sick. And if that information
you know that well. I mean, where you started your journey.
I started with industrial relations under Stephen Matheson.
Where you started your journey, you should know that. Where you just say that, you should know that well.
All those little things matter.
Exactly.
All those things matter.
And sometimes employers sometimes are very nonchalant about the way they treat with some of these issues, and it comes back to bite them in ways that they do. You spend a lot of money. Sometimes you could just settle the matter.
Sometimes you just have to settle it.
Right?
You have to settle it.
But you know what to go and pay litigation costs.
Exactly.
Which might be what you might have paid in the first place to settle the matter.
That's right.
And then, but I mean, coming back to on the next side of it, sometimes unions really extort money from companies. Knowing that what we just talking about, knowing that they don't know, they extort money from them.
That's why.
And that's a sad thing too.
You need, if you're not strong in industrial relations, you need
a
consultant. Call Stephen. I could vouch for Stephen.
No, and I'm blowing my own trumpet, but I'm saying.
Well, I blowing it.
Every day.
This man never lost a matter.
Every day, listen, every day you see it, the kind of mistake, kind of errors company make, big companies, you know.
But you know what, too, Stephen?
I do not BP a Moko matter right now for a guy. And the error that company make, with all them experts they have, all them HR people have, a schoolboy error.
It's very possible. It is possible, especially where you have now, I don't know about that company, but in companies where there's a one-man HR, it is very possible for those things
no, but them kind of companies don't have no one-man HR. Them kind of companies have plenty HR. There's a level of HR.
The HR director, the head has to be versed in industrial relations.
But sometimes, I must say, a lot of times companies know, they get good advice.
Yes.
They get opinion.
Yep.
But they chose to go the way they're going because they out of spite sometimes when the workers out because they have effort money put down.
But you still can't blame you can't blame the HR person all the time because they still report as CEO and they still have to take that directive.
And you see what happened yesterday with the bank? I think that was the case.
And you know the HR person get thrown under the bus, unfortunately.
So you say, hey, you say that we're going to court. This is a government-run company and the government will spend that money.
And the
but
we is the HR manager.
We pay that for no money.
HR manager to face them judges, affiliate for them. So, I mean...
Some of them even come into court.
Wow.
As no witness.
With no...
They'll send a functionary, a people, somebody who understands everything that's going on in the department as the witness.
They send that.
But all of that, I mean, I'm saying all of this to say that the workplaces are very dynamic, creature. And
correct.
What we had to understand is we have to understand when we're managing people, we have to understand that where the decisions are made, you should have people in the know.
That's correct.
Because you will have challenges, you will have issues, and you will have cost.
That's correct.
And some companies, while they might have effort money and the cost is not a consideration. But you had to consider your name.
That's right.
And a judgment.
Your name. Your professionalism, all that.
Because I've heard judges call certain companies bad employers.
Wow.
Bad
and
employers.
Those things are public record.
I used to do work for an employer just one time. And when I was called to consult for that company, they had 42 matters in the court.
Ooh.
so you know they could only be a bad employer.
Yeah.
They had 42 matters and all of them was different kind of issues.
Wow.
By the way, that company don't exist again. It used to be a casino.
But it's serious.
But yes.
So HR professionals take these comments seriously, and as a matter of fact, Stephen Matteson is going to be hosting a webinar on industrial relations and the HR function, right, with our group Transform Port of Spain chapter. So you can look out for that on social media, but you need to have this type of teaching, this type of guidance. He will have a panel that will discuss as well. We probably may have some union representatives there as well, but this is information. If you desire to pursue a career in HR, you must understand industrial relations by the man himself, Stephen Matteson.
Yeah, and not just go to school and understand it, but practice it. Go and sit down in court. If you don't understand, go and sit down in court and listen. You could go in the court. Sit down and listen to the matters. Listen to matters and that kind of thing and learn.
Yeah.
Because this is serious and it is getting even more serious because now everybody, trying to be good is becoming very, very litigious.
Yeah.
Everybody looking to take it to court.
Yep.
Everybody. As soon as you see you talk too hard at worker, you're looking to take it.
Constructive dismissal. I see a roti shop in court.
Roti shop. Watch me.
I was shocked.
I represented a school feeding, one of them little school feeding program.
Wow.
Kitchen.
Yeah.
Anybody could get it, Anybody gets it.
Business owners, anybody could get it.
Gets it.
We have 44 seconds.
Right?
Let's go.
So the thing is, at the end of the day, you had to understand that you had to make that investment and call a consultant.
That's right.
If you want to get me, you can get me on 382-4208. 382-4208. Call me and I will certainly, as a business, I'll certainly help you to put your business in order.
Fantastic.
So this evening, we had a very good show, as
Yes.
usual, and today's Friday. We end very early on Fridays. So we look forward to having this discussion and this show again with you on Monday.
Have a good evening.
Have a good evening and a good weekend.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
Boy, I got in an accident a while ago. I was in traffic and my car get bounced from behind.
Well, then they're wrong.
Yeah.
Well, the insurance company go fix it up.
Fix up? Huh. I make my claim the next day. And up to now, I can't hear from the insurance company. I need my car fixed.
Look, you better go to the Financial Services Ombudsman. I'm sure they can help.
Yeah, I'm going to check them now.
To resolve a complaint with your insurance company, bank, or non-bank financial institution, contact the Office of the Financial Services Ombudsman at 804 FSO.